Hi. So you are probably completely lost and are probably extremely overwhelmed. I totally understand. I'm overwhelmed doing all of this research on all of these jobs. I can only imagine how it would be if I didn't have any work experience or knowledge of IT. Like, where do I start? Well, in this video, I'm gonna go over 5 skills that would be extremely useful to have for any cybersecurity job. I went through tons of job postings and I noticed the same themes reoccurring throughout these posts. This isn't for every job, of course, in cybersecurity because there are so many, but for a large percentage of them, this would be an extremely good base to have. And if you're new to my channel, this channel is all about getting a job in cybersecurity. I have a free resume template below if you want to check that out. So let's get into the video. The first skill that I repeatedly saw come up on job boards is a fundamental understanding of the OSI model, how to troubleshoot networks, and basic networking concepts. And this should come at no surprise, as networking is the backbone of the internet. This is why vehicles that pick up money at, say, Walmart are armored and have a lot of security on them, because data in transit is extremely insecure, so they have to find a way to make it secure. Although I do wish I lived in like a perfect world where I didn't really have to worry about someone trying to steal the money. If you do know networking, then you'll be able to understand the importance of it, how to detect attacks such as a DDoS attack, and exactly what a DDoS attack is. Without knowledge of networking, switches, routers, network traffic, it's really hard to learn what a DDoS attack is. So you need that backbone of knowledge in order to completely understand that. A good place to start when learning networking would actually be studying for the CCNA. Now, CCNA is very Cisco oriented, which isn't 100% needed. However, that exam teaches you great basics. Maybe you don't even want to take the test, then don't. However, going through that material will greatly help you. For instance, a really good course on Udemy is the Complete Networking Fundamentals, CCNA by David Bombay. And he has a really good YouTube channel also, if you want to check that out. This course is so comprehensive. I wish I had this when I was studying for CCNA. It goes over subnetting, Wireshark, routers, switches, MAC, spoofing, and you need this knowledge to understand a large percentage of malicious attacks on networks. Without this knowledge, you're gonna have a really rough time. The link is below in the description if you want to check out this course. The next cybersecurity course that I saw come up a lot on job boards was a familiarity with operating systems and computer hardware. And to me, this is actually my least favorite part. I can't stand computer hardware. I don't like it, but it is useful knowledge to know because a lot of attacks take advantage of computer hardware. So you're gonna need to know things like memory, what a hard drive is, things of that sort. Memory is really important to understand when it comes to systems because it is exploited a lot. Also, different operating systems in this field would be really good knowledge. And you can just take a basic Linux course that would give you really good knowledge, in a basic like Windows cloud course. I'm gonna say Microsoft Azure, as that would be better time spent. I do have a link below for like a basic Linux course, really useful, and also a Windows course. It won't even take you that long. And if you really want to learn computer hardware, A+ has a lot of videos free on YouTube that you can go check out. I wouldn't spend a huge amount of time on hardware unless that's what you want to specialize in. Another good course to start with if you have no IT or cybersecurity background would be the Google IT Support Certification. I did do a review on it here, but it's also just really good, useful information, and it does have a security portion for IT, which I found really helpful as a refresher. The next cybersecurity skill that came up a lot was kind of obvious, but a familiarity with malicious attacks, DDoS attacks, web application attacks, application security, social engineering topics. And this is actually the most fun part. But in order to understand all of this part, I'm going to stress this again, is you're gonna need a good basis of system administration, such as Linux and Windows, and also network administration, CCNA. Links are below. And a really good place to learn this would be the CompTIA Security Plus. And because it is vendor neutral, it's just gonna give you the concepts. Am I saying you should take this test and pass it? No. However, it is requested a lot on different job boards. So it can't hurt your chances, and it really shows that you know the material, and it gives you something to study for and gauge your readiness. It's really interesting stuff. There are tons of material, but one that I found on Udemy was really good, and that's CompTIA Security Plus, taught by Jason Dion. This is 21 hours of just Security Plus. Don't take any shortcuts when you're learning this, because it will come back to bite you, because you also have to pass technical interviews. It's not just the certificate, but you also actually need the skills. The link is below for the Security Plus certification. The next one on my list is one that kind of slips a lot of people's minds, and I understand why, and it's familiarity with compliance protocols such as HIPAA, PCI, SOX, NIST, all of those different things. In cybersecurity, say you're a pen tester and you break a law. Just because you don't know the rules and regulations doesn't mean you still can't be prosecuted by the company. So it's important to know just basics of exactly cybersecurity laws, compliance, rules and regulations, which you'll get deeper into once you choose the niche. And I saw this a lot on job postings. So if you're able to talk about compliance and different rules and regulations in the industry, and you bring up NIST 800-53, oh my gosh, the hiring manager may just give you an offer right there, because NIST 800-53 is a really good one to start with. Nobody wants to do compliance that works in IT. I personally despise compliance. However, this is an opportunity for you, because if you specialize in compliance, more than likely or not, you can get an IT auditor position or a compliance position, because those jobs often look past needing a lot of technical experience, probably because they have a high turnover rate. But if you are eager to learn, then it is a good place to start to get your door in the foot and rise up in the reins and just learn everything you can about the IT field, because most of your learning is going to happen on the job. You can only get so far with online courses and things of that sort. So the faster you can get a job, the better it will be. But if you do end up getting a compliance job and hate it, just remember there's hope. You can change your job. You can come to my YouTube channel and figure out something else. There are courses, tons of courses, depending on what you specialize on. Now, I was looking at CMMC because that is an up and coming rules and regulations that the government is going to be requiring for DoD contractors. Now, if you know these skills ahead of everybody else, you go from back of the line to front of the line. Look at trends in the regulations and whatnot, and see what they're pushing, because they're going to need people who are skilled in reading those regulations and then remediating the vulnerabilities or auditing the systems or making sure the controls are in place or whatever. My last and final cybersecurity skill that I see a lot is a familiarity with PowerShell, Python, Linux command systems. I'm here to tell you these are really useful skills to have on your resume, even if the job that you're not applying to is like nothing to do with programming. Having Python on your resume, it's just like street cred, you know, like, oh, this person knows Python. That means they could probably pick up anything else really quickly. Knowing Python and having projects you've done on Python, it would be extremely useful no matter what field you're going into. HR usually doesn't know what the different jobs are or different terminology, and they just see Python and then they just think that you're extremely technical. So remember, when people are reading your resume, they don't actually really know what it's saying. So you always have to write your resume for HR, but also for the applicant tracking system, the hiring manager. There are a lot of people you have to write this resume for. Check out my free resume template, and I will have a course coming out so you can make a killer good resume. Even if you don't become very good at building your own code, knowing how to read code and the structure of code is very important in cybersecurity, because sometimes you're going to be looking at, say, logs, and maybe it's in XML or JSON, or maybe they're trying to run like a SQL query. And so knowing a little bit of background of programming would be really good. And you will be ahead of your peers and just get promoted to the top quickly. And another benefit of learning how like the basics of programming is it also teaches you logic, like that you can use in everyday life. I find myself thinking differently. So it gives you a different framework to make decisions from. So I think that is really good. If you're a self-help junkie like myself, learn programming is probably the best self-help thing that you can do, and then just apply it to making better decisions. And I do have a really good course for this on Coursera. It's programming for everybody, not too intimidating. I do have the link below if you want to check that out. Check out my other videos on how to get a job in cybersecurity, how to effectively study for cybersecurity, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.